now. I feel like I got to put on a performance or say some shit. What do we got? Excited to be here. Let's go, Big East.
Why is St. John's
MSG, baby. What's up? What do you got?
Why is St. John's won and you're not?
Oh, come on.
Trying to start
shit. Yeah, for me, I think just so focused on trying to get our defense fixed and get a little bit healthy here with some guys just have been banged up. So and get ready for the season. I think there's nothing probably more useless than preseason polls and picks and the 23 team not being ranked in the preseason and then starting, the dominant run. So preseason polls are pretty meaningless. I don't even do mine. I think I told Luke to go do that shit.
Is it good for the league that you and St. John's are at the top and there's a little bit of a rivalry between the two teams?
I think it's great for college. I think it's great for college basketball to have rivalries, to have programs that are both legitimately top 5, top 10 caliber. It's the only way you can do a rivalry. You can't do a rivalry if one team is at the top of the sport and has won 6 national championships since 1999. And other programs haven't had any level of success like that. It's pretty hard to have a rivalry. So, the fact that coach has their program, positioned the way they played last year and what they look like in the preseason, makes it exciting. It makes it great for the Big East. It makes those will be fun games, and it's also too. I wouldn't discount Creighton. The level that they do things, and I really like their roster.
And how seriously do you take rivalries between coaches? Does it matter at all to you, or is that just a fan public?
That's a fan public thing. I think unless there's actual animosity where some shit went on in recruiting, or where there's some bad blood, but it's not really. There may just be things about each other that piss you off, or something that was said in the media that you took the wrong way, or they took the wrong way, or you beat them a couple times in a row, they beat you a couple times in a row, and then things have a chance of festering at that point. But I think the thing about the Big East with the coaches is, we absolutely are trying to just kill each other. But there also is, because of the history of the league and the types of men that coached before us, there is also a respect level that we have for each other. I do think there's certainly a nastiness to when we're going to play St. John's, but I don't think it's disrespectful. I'm not disrespectful of Coach Pitino and who he is and what he's accomplished. But yeah, there's definitely an intensity and a tension between the programs.
Do you think that because of them beating you guys last year that there is now a rivalry between the two programs?
Yeah, I think that even if just to where St. John's is at now, who become your rivals? Your people that are threatening you, right? The threats to what you're doing, the threats to you winning your championships become your rivals in any sport. So those are really your only rivalries, are the people that are threats to you being on top. So,
Coach Hurley, everybody wants to come play for Dan Hurley. Everybody wants to play UConn basketball. What do you look to instill in this incoming freshman class to continue to build that culture and continue to win championships at UConn? Yeah,
for us recruiting, it's a simple. In recruiting, we're trying to just get our type of people. We got to meet the talent thresholds, size, skill level, physical, whatever that looks like, to be talented enough. But I think that what's made us special in terms of the culture that we're able to maintain while the sport is made that very challenging is just how we filter out maybe the type of people that won't allow you to have a connected group, an unselfish group, a group that puts winning above individuals, that a gym rat mentality. Again, like we want ball players. We want guys that want to win. We want guys that want to work. We want guys that want to be part of a great team. We don't want to recruit players that want to be influencers or TikTokers, or that's not the type of sports organization that we want at UConn. Because if you come to UConn, you're going to get measured by how many championships you won.
Dan.
How does it feel to have the opportunity to continue coaching one of the most winningest basketball programs in the Big East, especially and also how is Karaban running back to his senior year?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you take if you go to UConn and you hit it right as a coach or a player, it changes your life. UConn afforded me the opportunity to lead the program, changed my life, changed my career. It's changed the lives of multiple players. So, UConn is just, it's a life-changing place to be a student. Storrs, Connecticut, it's a wonderful university, but you go and hit it right in basketball, it's a life-changing place, UConn.
Coach, what do you think is the special ingredient in creating a leader like Alex or Paige Beckers?
Yeah, I think what Alex is just he's a ball player. He leads by example. He's not in an era where I think there's a lot of athletes and sports people are vying for attention. They're vying for clicks. They're vying for viral videos. I mean, this guy should be celebrated. He should be promoted. I mean, there's a lot of and they shouldn't even be old school values, but it's like Alex Karaban, he represents what's great about sports. It's like work ethic, it's sacrifice, it's winning, it's being responsible, it's leading by example, it's being about team, it's front of jersey. That's not going to get him many endorsement deals because unfortunately in society today, that's not as celebrated as it should be. This guy should have so many campaigns leading into the year. This guy is legitimately attempting to be the most accomplished college basketball player since the players that played at UCLA in the 60s and 70s. This guy has a legitimate chance to potentially win 3 national championships in 4 years as a starting player, and it's an integral part of those teams. Unfortunately, Alex is not dancing around dropping TikToks in here, so his story probably isn't told as much in our society today because it's too many old school values, which is sad.
Coach, everybody's talking about, rightfully so, you guys in St. John's, but what about the strength of the league? Because that could affect you moving forward also. And what sleepers do you see?
Yeah, Big East strength, I think, Creighton's right there. For me, with us and St. John's and Marquette, with Shaka's built there, with that culture and getting Jones back and I think that they'll be right there again. I really like what Kim and Ed have done. I think Providence and Georgetown will be right there, as well. And that's just off of top of brain there. I know I'm going to give some people some bulletin board material. I like to see Shaheen. I mean, I'm watching a lot of Shaheen's press conferences, and I see a guy that's excited to coach his team. So I'm excited about the league this year.
Seton Hall was picked last. What do you think about Shaw's chances to overachieve there?
I told Luke not to pick him last, so I know that wasn't unanimous because I'm pretty sure we did. It wasn't unanimous.
Can he overachieve from?
I think Shaheen is in a weird way. I think guys like me and Shaheen, maybe it's the jersey thing. We like our back against the wall. We like people doubting us a little bit. I think we like a little bit of that external people saying we can't do it. I think that feeds right into where Shaheen where Shaheen is. Obviously, he needs the resources to be exactly where he wants to be. But I think Shaheen is one of the best coaches in the country.
Coach, after back-to-back national titles, your Huskies were eliminated in the round of 32 by the eventual champion Florida. What's been the mentality and attitude inside your building in hopes of getting back to that?
I think it's been nice to get back to pursuit as opposed to reigning and defending. Getting that kind of weight off and get that target set again and that pursuit again. it's been a little freeing. I think last year was very valuable in terms of getting a reset. I think the ego exploded last year. I think I didn't have my best year as a coach. I think both in terms of the way I led the group and the group that I put together, and then the way I handled myself and the team throughout the year. So I think I'm in a much better position to get the most out of my team last year. I think that there are a couple games that we left on the table, that I take responsibility for, and I'm going to have a better year as a coach this year and having experienced what I went through last year, failing to three-peat, the criticism I took during the year. I think it has all made me a better coach, and I'll have a better year.
Dan, on top of that, to follow up, would you say that there's less pressure on you this time around, having been through it?
I got you next time. I got you. What are you saying?
Would you say that there's more pressure or less pressure now this time around following the season that you went through?
Not as much pressure as last year. I mean, I had put myself in a pretzel before the year started. I mean, I had wound myself up. I mean, you saw Maui. I mean, you saw the monstrous intensity and maniacal egomaniac that was imploding on the island, let's say, right? So I'm in a state right now where I'm going to dial up the intensity and the energy, when I need it. But I do think that there's a calmness about getting back on pursuit as opposed to reigning and defending. That just has me in a better state leading the team. Whereas I'm not so obsessed. There's an obsession, but it's not quite at that egocentric level.
Yeah, there was a moment last year where St. John's kind of surpassed UConn in Big East pedigree after they pretty much dominated that conference 2 years in a row with those 2 losses and losing to Creighton in the semifinals of the Big East tournament. How good does it feel to learn from those losses compared to learning from the wins you do have?
Yeah, I mean, we lost a lot of games. I mean, we lost. We went 0-3 in Hawaii last year, so we were vulnerable as a team last year, and I think that you're able to, when you have a season like that, focus on the areas where we weren't championship caliber. We earned the season that we got, by the way I coached and by the team I put together and by the way the team functioned, and a lot of it was centered around not having the defense and not having the toughness and the will and the rebounding and the junkyard dog mentality and that identity that my teams have had for a long time that I took for granted that we'd had. So we're back to that now. We recruited players that can help us fix that defense, and then we're coaching the shit out of our players to get that defense fixed.
Dan, do you think the two teams you and St. John's are kind of on even footing? Like Rick's first year, you guys were clearly better. Last year, they were better. Do you feel like the two teams now are on even footing as you go into the year?
I just think every year, now in college is just like, it's kind of like becoming the G League in a way, where it's like every year is just, it's a totally new season. So many things fluctuate. I mean, I think you could see our flaws from when you first saw our teams play last year in the non-conference. You could see the areas where we were going to be exposed throughout the year. Obviously, their physicality, their defense, their rebounding, it all played incredibly well in the Big East. But then the lack of shooting, the lack of scoring hurt them when you get to tournament play, NCAA tournament play, where you have to be able to score and shoot to win 6 single elimination games, versus all different types of opponents and different sites. So for me, I'm focused on just what we put together. I think we're going to be, one of the best offensive teams in the country again this year. We're incredibly deep. We're deep on the wing, we're deep at point guard, and we're deep at center. The question for us is, did we fix the defense? If we fix the defense, then we have as good a chance as anyone to win all the trophies.
Why do you think?
What more have you learned about your team after watching more film from the exhibition?
I wasn't as pissed as I was coming out of the Rhode Island exhibition at Mohegan Sun. I thought we were far worse. Not having Silas, not having Taras, two critical guys. I mean, and still feeling like better than you felt. There's obviously a lot of things we need to fix, but felt like there's a lot that we liked about what we could become. By the time we get to the non-conference in November.
Dan, I've asked this to all the coaches and Alex actually. You were a player in the Big East, now you're a coach in the Big East. If someone has never been a part of all of this, the competition, the league itself, how would you describe to someone that's never experienced the Big East as a player and a coach?
Yeah, I mean, the Big East is a different animal. It's the intensities, that the hostility in the opposing arenas that you go into, those environments, the physicality of the games, the way they get officiated, and then I would say what makes the league the most unique is the Big East tournament. It's just coming into this building in March and what you experience over the course of those couple days. It actually screws you up for the first couple rounds of the NCAA tournament because of almost the letdown of the environment in the first two rounds. So I don't think any other conference tournament has that issue. Most conference tournaments are an afterthought. The Big East tournament is next to the Sweet 16, Elite 8, and the Final Four. It's the best thing in college basketball.
Dan, you talked about mental health in your book and being honest and open and ready to be more open about your struggles personally.
Yeah.
How refreshing was it to pull back the veil, so to speak?
Yeah. For me, it's important to me to be an advocate, for mental health, especially with men, but for all human beings here. Just I've struggled a lot and got to some really dark moments, especially as a college student, and then in my, as a young father and as a young husband, struggling career-wise, financially, struggling relationally to deliver for your family, some very dark times. So for me, I want to be an advocate, that there's light at the end of the tunnel, that there's a lot of tools and a lot of ways that you could work on yourself and help yourself emotionally, mentally feel better, whether that's by finding your purpose or things like sleep, nutrition, exercise, relationships, meditation. There's a lot of things that you could do. Reading, your faith. There's a lot of things you could do. So for me, that was important. Having the book out too, I think this time of year, for me, has put me in a mental state going into the year that's, I feel pretty light. Anytime you share your honest life story with people, and it's very personal and it's very open, I think it's incredibly freeing, and it gives you, I think, a lot of strength. Like, it just sharing what I feel like after winning back-to-back championships, and I'm still deal with anxiety issues and emotional health issues after reaching the top of the mountain. I think it's made me feel a lot freer going into the season.
Last one, and I got to pull him, guys. Last one.
I'm glad you brought up faith. Taras was here earlier talking about faith and how he said he wants to branch that out throughout the rest of the team. What kind of impact do you think faith has had on your team so far?
Yeah, I was just speaking for myself, and as I think having a spiritual side to your life is critically important. And if that's Christianity or whatever it is that you believe in, I think to have spirituality and faith in something greater than yourself is critically important. My faith in Jesus Christ saved me, along with meeting my wife and finding my purpose, which is coaching. Those three things saved me. Knowing that, whatever I'm going through in life, whether it's a health crisis or struggles with family or struggles with career, that it's all part of God's plan for me, as well as the love of my wife and the gift of family. that she's given me, and living the purpose that I do every day, helping develop and lead young men, and hopefully produce championships for the great fans of Connecticut.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.